Hello, everyone, or I should say, welcome back to We COSMOPROF, the first digital event for beauty organized by COSMOPROF Worldwide Bologna. Today is our last day, and I'm here with Fashion Snoops with Melissa Hago. She is Vice President, Creative Director of Beauty at Fashion Snoops. And yesterday, Melissa started a presentation on the beauty shifts from culture to product. I leave immediately the mic to Melissa because I know that the presentation is very interesting and full of inspiring content. I remind you all that you can raise questions in the question box at the top right of the screen, and I will be back after the presentation to raise them to Melissa. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mattia. And again, my name is Melissa Hago, and I'm the beauty director at Fashion Snoops. For those of you not aware of Fashion Snoops, we are a global trend forecasting agency. So we really thrive looking at cultural shifts and how they are influencing the industry, specifically for me in beauty. So looking at lifestyle changes, looking at the state of the world, looking at politics, sustainability, and then really, making reports that make it specific to beauty, whether it be makeup, hair, nails, packaging, fragrance, grooming. And as Mattia mentioned, a part one yesterday, and yesterday I talked about two different trends, preservation and tech synergy. So if anyone's interested in part one and in this part two, everything will be available starting tomorrow on our website. So you can go to fashionsnoops.com/media/COSMOPROF. And I'll share again the link at the end of the presentation, but just know that we shared two different trends yesterday and we'll have two different ones today. So we'll get started. Our first trend is called fantastical nature. And we know that clean beauty, natural beauty has been trending for quite some time, but we are seeing this become elevated, and we're seeing people want more natural, holistic wellness, especially, being more with more knowledge of like what ingredients are put in makeup and skincare. The consumers are really looking for clean, but also, ingredients that are natural, but have some science backing as well. So, we start this trend obviously with the state of everything happening with the pandemic. We're seeing a big rise in immune boosting ingredients. So we've seen rises in echinacea and elderberry, vitamin C, vitamin D have gone up. And while this boost has happened because of everything happening with the pandemic, we do continue to see this keep traction. We know there's been many vitamin D supplement lines. There's been many topical as well. So just continuing to look at these ingredients, and here we've listed just kind of a few of the top ones, but there's so many other ones that we'll continue to track and see how they're using both for ingestible and topical beauty. So when we talk about clean beauty and natural, we are starting to see more natural alternatives. We saw this boost with bakuchi oil that kind of took over as a plant-based alternative, and we are going to see more and more of this. As I said, we are seeing a shift in people going more plant-based, of people being more cruelty-free, of wanting more vegan lifestyle. So we do see this trickling down into the beauty industry. One of the ones on our radar is the kahai oil. So it's a natural retinol. So again, just seeing more of these natural ingredients that will replace all the chemical ones. And with that also is a return of clay. And I think one of the reasons that we are seeing clay kind of come back is because of their, benefit of being antibacterial, being able to reduce topical bacteria. And these kind of words too are going to entice consumers after, especially with everything happening, they're going to want things with this kind of wording. So, just seeing a return of clay mask, but also seeing this go beyond into other areas as well. So I personally love this line by Herbivore. It's a bunch of clay soaps. Some of them are even infused with CBD. So just seeing, clay definitely within the mask formulations, but then seeing it in other areas as well. Along with this comes more botanical remedies. So how I mentioned in the beginning, there is that merger of ancient healing, of looking at, what kind of ingredients, what can we learn from, what can we use, but then bringing in that whole science as well. So having these formulations that are, you know, really strong and innovative, and merging that whole thing of science and nature. One of the brands here that I personally love is Tomin. It's the one on the left side, and I love their whole thing is embracing a new evolution of ancient botanical remedies. So they come up with these tinctures, and again, it's their whole thing is a functioning of like holistic functional wellness. And we're definitely going to see, you know, more in the holistic, more of like, you know, what remedies can I do at home and not have to maybe go to the doctor, or, you know, antibiotics are so big here, and what can I do to kind of alleviate through natural, through learning, as opposed to like just medication. And, you know, if we are talking about natural and beauty, we are continuing to see CBD. And I know CBD took over the market in a crazy way in the past few years. You know, we've seen it everywhere evolve in sexual wellness and ingestibles, topical. I mean, I think even the dollar store started including CBD. So we are actually seeing an evolution of CBD. We are seeing other cannabinoids, and there's actually so many of them. There's CBG, there's CBC, CBDV, TCCV, there's so many, and just seeing more of these. And what's great about these other cannabinoids is that some are specific. Like I know CBG is great for sleep, and we're seeing brands like Plant People, Bacara uses CBA, just really, you know, using the benefits of these other cannabinoids and not just strictly sticking to CBD. So another area that will continue to track, and seeing traction at the moment. And then, you know, along with natural, and again, we've seen this evolution go from skincare was the first to kind of tackle clean beauty and have it be really important. And then now we're starting to see like makeup, skincare infusion. And I think, you know, this has definitely moved on into the fragrance world. We're seeing people want more transparency, want more actual natural fragrances, and beyond just essential oils, like just something like really clean. And, you know, there has been a whole debate of like when there is an ingredient and it says perfume in the back, like what does that mean? What is that composed of? So just really seeing a big shift within the fragrance world, and we're going to continue to see this shift. One of my favorites here on the top right is Clean Reserve Collection. They actually just recently released a new line called Avant Garden, and it's all sustainably sourced, and their whole idea is garden to fragrance. So again, just seeing more transparency within the fragrance area, and seeing more natural perfumes as more consumers are going this way within, you know, other beauty areas as well. And then, you know, this is definitely a trend that came out because of the pandemic. I mean, we will continue to talk about sustainability. Sustainability was a big conversation on our trends that I talked about yesterday, but, you know, it really lives in all of our trends if you think about it. And we were seeing, and we will continue to track bulk. Refill has been something that we've already started to see, but now seeing more of these like bulk products. And again, especially during the pandemic, you know, people wanted to just, you know, we were stuck at home for 2-3 months. You know, some people are still home, just having these products, you know, just in bulk form instead of having to continue to buy so many of them. And, you know, this way it's one, good for the environment, and then you do have your favorite product for a longer time. So, you know, we think we'll continue to see more of these bulk products, and definitely see refill. And there's a lot of innovations in the refill. It kind of started with, you know, at the store you can refill your products, but now, you know, we're seeing different packaging ways of refilling. And we're also even seeing some where you can return and get back. So, you know, just seeing a lot more in this category within sustainability. And along the sustainability conversation, you know, again, continuing to track what new resources, you know, we've seen mushroom packaging by Ecoteviv, I think is the name that's here. Seeing all these new little eco pods. I mentioned this brand before, but I really love Billy because they have this whole clean calculator. So again, it's no longer enough to just say you're organic or natural. You know, there's so much greenwashing out there as well. So I love that the more transparent that a brand can be. And again, this Billy calculator allows you to compare other products to their products, and it shows, you know, where it is fully sustainable, biodegradable, and where it's really not, and what the safety and environmental impacts. So again, just seeing more movements on this will be super important. So my second trend is global community. And as we know, this is an important conversation to have. It's actually this trend we talked about a few months even before everything that's happened in the US and it's happened in the world, but it's really strong at the moment. You know, there has been protests and riots in the USA, but it has gone global. You know, we've seen almost, I believe the numbers at almost 18 other countries who have protested as well. So this is something that's really important as a trend that brands really need to embrace. And it's more than race. It's about inclusivity. It's about coming together as a community. I think one of the most important parts of this trend is talking about tokenism. It's no longer just okay to put an ethnic, a Black, an Asian model and call it a day on your campaign. You know, we have to strive and do more than that. I personally love P&G has made it a point to hire, you know, PhD chemists, a diverse group of formulators. So it's really important that you're not just campaigning this within the brand, but that it's also internally, especially when it comes to like different kinds of products. So again, we're seeing this really move on to just kind of sticking on someone and, you know, saying like, okay, we're inclusive, and really making sure that it's included in the thought process. And, you know, it's like beauty is not exempt to this. You know, we do have a platform to speak about human rights, and we are seeing brands like Cheekbone here who are really taking this and speaking to something. You know, this brand in particular is Native American, Indigenous, so they make sure that while they are selling products, that they are speaking to, you know, different projects. They have their whole Navajo Water Project where they donate 10% of their profits. You know, so again, really just opening it up and speaking to something and having like a donation base and profit. And then looking at other markets as well. Again, I feel like, you know, especially within beauty, it's been so silo for so long. So when we're saying inclusivity, it's like, you know, looking at the Latinx community, you know, looking at Asia Pacific, you know, while we have Korea and Japan have been trending for so long, looking at Southeast Asia. I know Halal certified has been trending for quite a while, but it's more than a trend. It's really just moving forward with this and making it not just like a one-time, like, okay, right now Black Lives Matter. Like, no, this is something that really needs to change in the future. So again, just really embracing other needs and as well. And along with that comes these underserved communities. So again, while race and gender has been kind of the big focus in this, you know, we are looking at disabilities as well. We are looking at the, you know, trans rights as well. So there's a lot of work to do within the inclusivity area, and there's a lot of areas that need to be touched in. And, you know, even here we have brands that are doing amazing things, and there's actually so many great innovative brands. So if anyone, you know, wants more of these, feel free to email me after. But I love the Ivory. They're creating these lashes for albinism, which is, again, is an area that I feel like they're probably one of the only ones touching this area. We're seeing a lot more packaging change for disabilities as well. This Victoria Land has this rised up packaging that kind of helps with visually impaired. Seeing a lot more adaptable packaging. So the one on the top right is by Guide Beauty, and that really helps with like anyone that has like a shaky hand. Miss Jessie in the middle created this packaging that has a special ergonomics so that you fully get everything that you need from the inside of it. I'm losing my words here. So yeah, so just seeing, again, a lot more adaptability to a bigger audience. And I think, you know, disability is, again, one of the ones that we have to keep in mind when creating packaging, when creating products. And, you know, and with that, this trend is called global community for a reason, and it is bringing us together. And I love that, you know, there is a way to showcase this in other ways. I mean, there's Instagram, but I love that these brands have looked at packaging as well to find a way to bring everyone together. And it's, you know, as simple as this all together beer advertisement where it just has the words. I love this tea company in the middle, Yushan Tea, where they actually show where their tea came from through illustrations, you know, who are the people working on the tea, and the little pamphlet has information on these people. And I think, you know, consumers are definitely going to want more of this human connection, you know, knowing where their product came from, who is it sourced from, who basically is the person behind this product. You know, we've seen a lot of this again within argan oil. We're going to continue seeing this as people question a lot more ingredients. So again, I love how this human connection is done through packaging. And this, even the one on the top, the tequila bottle had the fingerprint of the person who packaged it. So, you know, it's just like a nice way of bringing everyone together. And then, you know, these are a little bit more kind of modern packagings within the beauty industry. And, you know, again, as simple as using models as for all humans, you know, fragrance for all humans, these kind of, you know, wordings, just showing that, you know, they are open to more, that they're dissolving gender boundaries, they're dissolving all kind of boundaries. So, you know, love seeing more of this within packaging. And then, you know, we also look at ancient traditions. So this is a big part of the trends that we're tracking. And this really merges kind of the beginning that I spoke to and the end as well. So it is looking at ancient healing. You know, we've tracked Ayurveda for quite a while. We've looked at traditional Chinese medicine, and just to kind of really understand, you know, what are these ancient practices about, you know, looking at the Amazon and learning about ayahuasca, but not just, you know, making a product because Palo Santo is trending, and really like learning about these products, learning about these traditions, and, you know, finding both ways of incorporating them into products, but also, you know, honoring these traditions as well, I think are really important. And there's much to learn, and there's much, you know, what's great about this is that there is a way to merge both of these ancient traditions and healing with science, with technology. So just seeing a lot more of this as well. And yeah, that's the end of that presentation. Again, you know, a lot of great brands. So if anyone wants to know more about a brand or has a specific question, we also have so many reports, you know, on Black Lives Matter. So feel free to contact me, or feel free to contact Charlotte. Her information is here as well. She's our European brand ambassador. And like I mentioned earlier, both this presentation and the one that we did yesterday will be on fashionsnoops.com/media/COSMOPROF. So the link is right there. So feel free to check that out as well.
Thank you, Melissa. So all of you can ask questions in the question box at the right of the screen. So feel free to raise any questions. Let's see, Melissa. Yeah, we have few questions, so I will start with the first one. What new updates have you seen within natural beauty?
Yeah, so I think, you know, with Clean Natural almost a few years ago, it was almost very like minimalist of like, okay, we're just using 1 or 2 products, which we continue to see, but now we've seen it evolve into that mix of both natural, potent, you know, looking at plants that do these amazing things, but then also incorporating science as well. So, and that's the reason we even called the trend fantastical nature, because it wasn't just nature specific, but it is bringing in some of that science, some of that biotechnology, some biomimicry as well. So just having really that merger of nature and science is kind of like where we're seeing clean beauty headed.
One of my favorite questions is, how do you see the future of inclusivity evolving?
Oh man, how much time do we have? No. I mean, you know, it is a heavy question, because like I mentioned before, inclusivity was so kind of race and gender, you know, it was like, okay, you know, are you men, female, other? You know, we had so many beauty lines create like 50 palettes of foundation color, and even that wasn't, you know, enough. And I think it's definitely going beyond color, beyond race. And it, again, you know, every area is different. It is a global conversation, but like I mentioned, inclusivity is about disability. You know, it is about not just the products that you have, but also like who is running the show in your company as well. So I think you know, this is an area that's going to have a lot of changes, a lot of shifts, a lot of impact on our industry. And, you know, to be honest, it's about time. So yeah, we're just going to see it expand to more than color and race, to other areas as well.
Thank you, Melissa. And we have time for a last question. Given current events, what role do you see the beauty industry playing in issues of social justice going forward?
Yeah, I think, it's always been like people would be scared to speak about politics, and this is always like you kind of had to feel like you had to be quiet or be careful what you say. And it's not like that anymore, and especially within beauty, like everyone has a platform to speak up, to say something, to share. And I think that's where it's really going to evolve going forward. It's not, like I mentioned earlier, it's not enough to just have a campaign with diverse models and be like, that's it. Like, consumers, especially like now, like everyone's so proactive. They want to know what brands stand for and everything, and like what are they creating, who they stand for. So I think, within the beauty industry, it's also, part of what we have to do to move forward is use our platform to be vocal, to stand for something, to make this inclusive, to help with profits as well. And, in the end, to just make this world a better place as much as we can.
Thank you, Melissa, for this inspiring presentation. I hope to see you soon in New York or in Bologna or in Milan. I remind you all that the next and last Cosmo Talk will be in half an hour. Once again, thanks to all of you, and thank you, Melissa.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.